The hall was bright with golden lights, but it was not a place of joy. It was a place of power. Rows of aliens sat on shining seats, their strange faces glowing with greed. Some had eyes like burning coals. Some had skins of metal. Some had claws sharp enough to cut stone. They had all gathered for one reason: the slave auction. In the center stood a single figure, a young woman. Chains of silver wrapped around her wrists, ankles, and neck. The chains connected her to a tall podium made of black stone. She did not move. She did not speak. Her eyes were lowered, but inside them burned a hidden fire. She was not broken. Not yet. The auction master raised his long arms. His voice thundered across the hall. "Look, great buyers. A rare prize today. A strong one. A beautiful one. See how she stands, silent, full of spirit. Who will start the bidding?" The crowd roared. 50 credits, shouted one. 70, screamed another. 85. The numbers climbed higher and higher. The aliens laughed, fighting each other with money. For them, she was not a person. She was just property. The girl kept her face still. She did not want them to see her fear. She told herself, do not break. Do not give them what they want. Then suddenly the hall grew quiet. A new figure entered. It was a man. A human. The aliens turned their heads, confused. Humans were not welcome here. They were called weak, soft, unimportant. Yet this one walked with calm steps, his eyes steady, his jaw firm. He wore no armor. He carried no weapon. Just a simple coat and boots, dusty from travel. The auction master frowned. "Human, you have no place here. This is no market for your kind." The human did not answer. He stepped closer to the podium. His eyes met the chained girl's for the first time. She stared back, surprised. His gaze was not cruel. It was not greedy. It was different. He raised his hand. His voice was calm, almost quiet, but it carried across the hall. 100 credits. The hall exploded with laughter. A human dares to bid? Does he even have the money? Humans should stay with their dirt farms. The auction master sneered. 100 credits from the human. Anyone higher? 200, yelled a tall alien with scales. 300, cried another. The human did not blink. 500. The hall went silent again. Even the rich buyers looked shocked. 500 credits was no small number. The auction master's eyes narrowed. Do you even have that much human? The man pulled out a small device, glowing blue. The machine confirmed the payment. The numbers were real. The master nodded, forced to accept. Sold. The slave belongs to the human. The chains were unlocked. The girl's wrists and ankles were free, but she did not move. She watched him carefully. Why would a human waste so much for her? The crowd whispered, mocked, laughed, but also feared. A human with that much wealth and that much courage was not normal. The human walked forward. He offered his hand, gentle, steady. Come, you're free now. She did not take it. Not yet. Her heart raced. She thought, is this another trick? Another cage? He lowered his hand, not forcing her. You do not have to trust me, but you will not be chained again. Not while I breathe. For the first time in years, she felt confusion stronger than fear. This man was not like the others. The aliens shouted insults as they left. Foolish human! She will kill you in your sleep. Your kind is too weak to control a slave. You wasted everything. But the human did not answer them. He only guided her out of the golden hall and into the dark streets beyond. The girl looked up at the stars. For the first time, the chains were gone. But freedom was heavy, almost frightening. Her mind asked one question over and over, why me? The human walked beside her in silence. His eyes were hard but not cruel. His steps were steady, as if he carried a secret weight. In her chest, something stirred. Not trust, not yet, but a spark. The galaxy was full of masters and slaves, hunters and prey. But this strange human, had just changed everything. And deep inside, she knew. Her story was only beginning. The ship rose from the alien city like a shadow breaking free of light. Its metal wings cut through the skies, carrying two figures who had nothing in common. A human, and the girl who had once been a chained Podium slave. Inside the ship, silence ruled. The girl sat in the corner of the cabin. Her wrists were raw where the chains had bitten into her skin. Though free, she still kept her hands close together as if afraid someone might lock her again. Her eyes did not leave the human. He sat in the pilot's chair guiding the ship through the dark sky. His face was calm, unreadable. He did not look at her. Not once. The engines hummed. The stars began to appear as they left the atmosphere. The galaxy stretched out in front of them like an endless ocean of light. The girl whispered almost to herself, "Why?" The human did not turn. "Why what?" Her voice trembled with suspicion. "Why buy me? Why waste your credits? You know I am nothing. Just a slave." For a moment only silence answered. Then he spoke softly. "Not nothing. Never nothing," she frowned. She had heard lies before. Sweet words from cruel masters. Promises of kindness that ended in pain. She told herself not to believe him. Yet, his voice was different. Still, she kept her guard. She pulled her knees close to her chest like a shield. "You will sell me again," she said. "Or worse." The human shook his head. "No chains. Not from me." He pressed a button and the ship's systems came alive with glowing lights. The girl's eyes widened. The screen showed maps of star systems, paths leading into deep space. "Where are you taking me?" she asked. He finally turned, his eyes meeting hers. His gaze was steady, not cruel, not hungry. Away from them, her heart raced. Away? Away from the auction? From the city of chains? She wanted to believe it. She wanted it so badly that it hurt. But hope was dangerous. Hope could destroy her. Hours passed in silence. The human offered her food, a simple ration pack. She stared at it, suspicious. Slowly, carefully, she tasted it. It was real food, not poisoned, not rotten. Her stomach ached from hunger, but she forced herself to eat slowly, her eyes never leaving him. When she finished, he asked, "What is your name?" She froze. A name. No one had asked that in years. She whispered, I do not remember." He studied her, but did not press. "Then you will remember in time." She wanted to hate him. She wanted to believe he was just like all the others. But something about him was different. He did not act like a master. He acted like someone carrying a secret. The ship drifted into the silence of space. Outside the window, stars burned bright and the endless black stretched forever. The girl whispered, "You are human. Why come here? Why risk the auction?" The man leaned back in his chair. His voice was calm, but his eyes carried shadows. "Humans adapt. We survive where others cannot. That is our gift," she frowned. "Your kind is weak. Everyone says so." A small smile touched his lips. "That is what they want you to believe." His words sank into her mind like a stone in deep water. Was it true? Were humans more than they seemed? Her eyes narrowed. Why me? Why not by someone else? For the first time, he hesitated. His jaw tightened. Then he said only one sentence. "Because you will survive." Her heart skipped a beat. She stared at him, confusion and fear mixing inside her. Survive what? What did he know? Before she could ask, the ship's alarm blared. Red lights flashed across the cabin. The human stood quickly, moving to the control panel. His voice was sharp now. "Pirates!" The girl froze. On the screen, several ships appeared, sharp and fast, moving toward them like wolves hunting prey. Her heart pounded. She whispered, "They will take me back." The human's eyes hardened. "Not while I breathe." The ship shook as laser fire hit the shields. The human moved with speed, his hands flying across controls, dodging attacks, returning fire. He was no soldier, yet he fought with the precision of one who had lived through many battles. The girl clung to her seat, fear filling her chest. She had seen masters fight. She had seen warriors kill. But this human, he fought not for wealth, not for pride, not for chains. He fought for survival. He fought for her. The battle raged. One pirate ship exploded. Another broke off. But then a blast struck the human side of the cabin. Sparks flew. He cried out, falling against the chair. Blood stained his coat. The girl gasped. She stood, her body trembling. Her first thought was to run, to escape, to hide. That was what she had always done. That was what slaves did, but then she saw his hand gripping the controls, refusing to let go. Even as blood dripped onto the floor, his eyes burned with fire, and in that moment she faced a choice: run or save him. The cabin smelled of smoke and blood. The ship's alarms wailed like a dying creature. Sparks danced from broken wires, painting the walls in flashes of red. The girl stood frozen. The human lay slumped in the pilot's chair, his side burning with blood. His hand still clutched the controls, refusing to let go even as his strength faded. Her heart pounded. She had never been free before. She had never been asked to make a choice. And now here it was, run or save him. Her instincts screamed, escape, hide, save yourself. That was what a slave always did. That was survival. But something in her chest whispered different. This human was not like the others. He had not chained her. He had fought for her. He had paid for her freedom when no one else cared. Slowly, with shaking hands, she stepped forward. "Don't die," she whispered, as if the words themselves could hold him here. She grabbed the medkit from the wall. She had seen others use it, though never for her. Her fingers trembled as she tore open his coat and pressed the healing gel onto the wound. The gel hissed, burning, sealing flesh. He groaned but did not wake. Outside the window, the last pirate ship circled back. The girl gasped. She had no training, no idea how to fight, but she could not let them take him. She slid into the pilot's chair. The controls glowed with alien symbols, but somehow her hands remembered. Long ago, before the chains, before the podium, she had learned to fly. The memory returned like fire through her veins. Her fingers danced. The ship lurched. A laser bolt shot wide, missing the pirate by inches. The enemy turned. Another blast came. She rolled the ship hard to the side. The stars spun, her stomach twisted, but she kept moving. Faster, sharper. Her fear turned into something else, power. One more shot. The pirate ship burst into flames, swallowed by the cold of space. Silence returned. The girl gasped for breath, her chest heaving. She looked at the human. His eyes were closed, his skin pale. But he was still alive. She whispered again. "Why you? Why save me?" Hours passed. She stayed by his side, watching, waiting. She expected him to die. But slowly, too slowly, color returned to his face. His breathing grew steadier. At last, his eyes opened. The girl flinched, caught between relief and fear. You should be dead." The human coughed, trying to sit. "Not so easy to kill us," her eyes narrowed. "Humans are weak. That's what everyone says." He gave a tired smile. "They say that because they fear the truth." Confusion filled her. "What truth?" He leaned forward, his voice low, heavy with secret weight. "Humans adapt. We bend, we break, we heal. We learn faster than any race. The galaxy laughs at us because they don't understand. They think strength is in muscle or in weapons or in bloodlines. But real strength is in survival. And no one survives like us." The girl's chest tightened. She remembered the auction hall, the way the aliens mocked him. She remembered how he had stood calm while they laughed. And now she saw the truth in his wound. Any other being would be dead. Yet he lived. Her voice trembled. "Why tell me this?" He looked at her, his eyes sharp and unshaken. "Because you need to hear it. You think you're nothing. You think you're broken. But you're not. You survived chains. You survived humiliation. That means you are stronger than they can ever understand." Her throat closed. She wanted to argue, to deny it. But deep inside, something stirred. She whispered, "Why did you buy me? Why spend everything?" His jaw tightened. He looked away for a moment, as if fighting words. Then he spoke. "Because they will come for you, and you need to live." Her heart froze. "What do you mean?" He leaned back, closing his eyes again, as if even speaking had drained him. "Your blood. It's not like theirs. It's not like mine. It's different, dangerous, valuable." Her breath caught. Memories flashed. The experiments, the cold hands of scientists, the injections she never understood. "You know," she whispered. "You know what they did to me?" He nodded faintly. "And I know they won't stop. Not until you are theirs again. That is why I bought you. To keep you alive." The words crashed into her like thunder. All this time she thought he was just another master with softer chains, but no, he was something else. The ship floated quietly now, drifting among the stars. The alarms were silent, the fire gone, but inside her heart a storm was rising. She looked at him, at this strange human who bled and fought and survived when no one else could. For the first time, she wondered if maybe he was right. Maybe she was more than a slave, maybe she was meant to survive, but survive what? The ship drifted through endless space. Its wounds were patched, its engines steady once more. Inside, silence filled the small cabin. The girl sat on one side, arms wrapped around her knees, eyes fixed on the stars. The human sat across from her, his side bandaged, his face pale but alive. His strength was returning, slowly, like fire rebuilding from dying coals. Neither spoke for a long time. The silence was not empty. It was heavy, full of things unsaid. At last the girl broke it. "You knew," she whispered. The human looked at her. "Knew what?" Her eyes narrowed. You knew about me, about what they put in my blood, he nodded. His voice was calm but steady with meaning. Yes, her chest tightened. Rage burned inside her. So that's why you bought me. Not to free me, not to help me, just because of this. She held out her arm as if the blood itself was a curse. The human leaned forward. His voice grew harder. Listen, they wanted you as a weapon. They wanted you chained, controlled, used until nothing was left. I didn't buy you for that. I bought you because I know what you can become. Her breath caught. His words struck her deeper than she expected. She looked away, whispering, I am not a weapon. I am nothing. He shook his head. You are alive. That makes you more than nothing. That makes you dangerous to them. The words echoed in her mind. Dangerous. She had always been the weak one, the silent one, the chained one. But now, someone was telling her she could be feared. Her heart warred with itself. Could she believe him? Could she trust him? The human pushed himself to his feet, wincing at the pain in his side. Come with me, she hesitated. Where? To the training bay. He led her down a narrow hall into a small chamber. The walls were lined with old equipment, padded walls, weight machines, and hollow screens flickering faintly. It smelled of dust and oil as if it had not been used in years. He turned to her. If you are to survive, you must learn. Her eyes narrowed. Learn what? Fight, think, adapt, survive. She shook her head. I am not strong. The human gave a small, tired smile. Neither am I. But strength is not only in muscle. It is in how far you can bend without breaking. Something in his eyes made her pause. This was no empty speech. He believed it. He stepped back and raised his hands, open, not threatening. Hit me, she blinked. What? Hit me, he repeated, confusion mixed with anger. She had been ordered to obey before. But this was different. He was asking, not commanding. Slowly, awkwardly, she raised her fist and swung. It barely touched him. Again, he said. She frowned and tried again, harder this time. He blocked it easily. Better. Again. Frustration burned in her chest. She struck again and again. Each time he blocked or dodged, his calm voice guiding her. Faster, tighter, watch my eyes. Don't think they feel hours passed. Her body ached, sweat dripping down her skin. But something strange happened. She did not feel weak, she felt alive. When at last she collapsed to the floor, panting, he offered his hand. She looked at it, remembering the first time he had offered it at the auction. Then slowly she took it. For the first time, she did not feel like a slave taking orders. She felt like a student learning to stand. That night, as she lay on the narrow bunk, her thoughts burned. His words replayed in her mind. You are alive. That makes you dangerous. Her eyes closed, but sleep did not come easily. She dreamed of fire, of chains breaking, of a voice calling her name, a name she had forgotten long ago. The next day, training continued. Not just fighting. He taught her how to read the ship's systems, how to spot traps, how to move silently, how to think like a hunter instead of prey. At first she stumbled. She failed, she fell. But every time his voice was steady, get up, try again. And every time she rose. Something inside her was changing. The chains had left marks on her skin, but deeper were the marks on her soul. Slowly, with each strike, each step, each lesson, the marks began to fade. One evening after training, she sat across from him again. The stars drifted past the window like silent watchers. She asked softly, Why do you care if I live? Why me when so many others are chained? The human's eyes were distant, shadowed. Because I lost someone once. I could not save them. I will not fail again. Her chest tightened. There was pain in his voice, sharp and deep, hidden behind his calm mask. She wanted to ask more, but the words died on her lips. For the first time, she saw him not as just a human, not as just a rescuer. She saw him as someone broken, someone who carried scars of his own. In that moment, something passed between them. Not trust, not yet, but something stronger than silence. A bond, and then the alarm sounded again. The ship's sensors flashed red. On the screen, a massive shadow appeared. A warship. The girl's breath caught. The symbol on the ship's side froze her blood. She knew it well. It was the mark of her master. They had found her. The warship followed like a shadow that could not be shaken. Its dark shape filled the stars behind them, a giant predator in the void. Every sensor on the human ship screamed warnings. The girl stood frozen as the symbol on the enemy's hull burned in her eyes. The mark of her master. The one who had once owned her. The one who had chained her on the podium. Her breath quickened. They've come for me. The human's hands moved fast over the controls. Then we don't give them what they want. The warship fired. Red beams tore through space. The smaller ship jolted, alarms blaring, shields weakening. The human cursed under his breath. We can't outrun them in open space. We need cover. Cover? The girl asked, her voice trembling. He pointed to the map. That. A broken planet spun slowly nearby. Its surface was cracked, scarred, half dead. Black smoke rose from endless ruins. Old battlefields littered the ground with wreckage of ships and bones of armies long forgotten. The girl shivered. No one goes there. It is cursed. Good, the human said. Then no one will follow us closely. He turned the ship hard. They dove into the dead planet's atmosphere. The warship followed, hunting like a beast that refused to lose its prey. The smaller ship rattled as it sliced through heavy clouds of ash. Lightning cracked across the sky. Below stretched cities in ruin, towers broken like teeth, streets swallowed by dust. They landed in the skeleton of what had once been a great city. The human shut down the engines. Silence returned, but heavy, tense. The girl looked around the broken towers. The air smelled of rust and smoke. What happened here? The human stepped out first, scanning with a small device. A war, long ago. No one survived. She followed him carefully. The ruins whispered with ghosts of the past. Wind moaned through hollow windows. Shadows stretched long and thin across shattered walls. The girl hugged her arms around herself. Why here? The human looked at her, his face grim. Because sometimes the dead protect the living. If we hide well, they will not find us. They moved through the ruins deeper into the heart of the fallen city. The girl's eyes kept darting to the sky, half expecting to see the warship drop soldiers at any moment. Then, something strange happened. As they entered the center of the ruins, her skin tingled. Her veins burned faintly, glowing for an instant like fire under her flesh. She gasped, clutching her arm. The human turned quickly. What is it? I don't know, she whispered. Her blood hummed, alive, reacting to something around them. And then the ground shook. A hidden device buried under rubble. Activated. Dust fell from the towers as a hologram burst to life before them. It was a figure. Human. Dressed in ancient armor, his face blurred by time. His voice, however, was clear. To those who carry the human spirit, the hologram said, "This world remembers you. You are not alone. Survive." The girl's eyes widened. What is this? The human stared at the hologram, shock in his face. I don't know. Humans were never meant to be here. This is far from our worlds. And yet... The hologram flickered, showing images of battles. Humans fighting side by side with other races. Humans falling, rising, enduring. Then it faded, leaving only silence. The girl trembled. Her blood still burned. It reacted to me. Why? The human looked at her, his eyes sharp, calculating. Because you are more than they told you. More than a slave. Your blood is not just their experiment. It is a key. She shook her head. A key to what? Before he could answer, the sky split with thunder. Engines roared above. The warship had found them. Troop carriers dropped from the clouds, spilling armored soldiers into the ruins. Their master wanted her back and alive. The human pulled her behind a wall. His voice was fierce, steady. No more running. If we don't stand now, they'll never stop hunting you. Her chest tightened. Fear clawed at her. She had always run. Always hidden, but now, something inside her shifted. The hologram's words still rang in her mind. You are not alone, survive. She clenched her fists. Her blood burned brighter. The human looked at her, eyes locked with hers. Fight with me. For the first time, she nodded. The ruins shook as enemy boots struck the ground. Dust rose. Shadows closed in. The hunt had begun. The ruins shook as the enemy descended. Dust rose from the broken towers. The ground cracked under the weight of armored boots. The girl and the human crouched behind shattered stone, listening to the thunder of soldiers filling the streets. The girl's chest pounded. She had faced chains, but never a battle like this. Her voice trembled. There are too many. The human's eyes burned with quiet fire. Numbers don't decide who wins. Will does. He pulled a weapon from his belt, a small rifle patched with old parts. It looked weak against the storm coming for them. Still, he held it steady. The girl shook her head. I don't know how to fight them. I will slow you down. The human turned to her, his face fierce but calm. You survived slavery. You endured what would have broken others. That makes you stronger than them already. Trust yourself. Her blood hummed again, hot under her skin. She clenched her fists. For the first time, she did not feel weak. She felt ready. The first soldiers appeared, armored giants with glowing rifles. Their voices echoed through the ruins. Return the slave, or die with her. The human stepped out from cover. She's no slave. Blaster fire lit the air. The human dodged, firing back. One soldier fell, then another. The girl froze for a heartbeat, then ran forward, rage burning in her chest. She grabbed a broken metal rod from the ground and swung. The first enemy she struck fell with a crunch. Her eyes widened. The strength in her arms was not normal. It was more. The human shouted, "Good! Keep moving!" The soldiers closed in. The girl fought wildly, her blood glowing brighter each time she struck. Her veins lit like fire beneath her skin. She did not understand it, but she did not stop. Every hit, every movement felt faster, sharper, stronger. The ruins became a battlefield. Blaster bolts shattered walls. Dust filled the air. The human fought like a storm, dodging, firing, never standing still. The girl fought like fire, each strike fueled by years of pain and chains. But the enemy was endless. For every soldier that fell, more poured into the streets. The girl gasped, her body shaking. There are too many. The human grabbed her arm, pulling her close. His eyes blazed. Listen, it's not about fighting them all. It's about outlasting them. Humans adapt. So can you. Push, survive. Something inside her broke open. Her blood burned like fire and ice together. She screamed, and her body moved faster than before. She dodged blasts that should have killed her. Her strikes shattered armor. The soldiers began to falter, fear showing in their voices. She's changing. She's not the same. The girl's eyes glowed faintly, her breath heavy but fierce. She was no longer just prey. No longer a chained slave. She was something new. The human stood at her side, firing shot after shot, his voice steady even in chaos. That's it. Don't hold back. Show them what they made. Show them you cannot be broken. Bodies littered the ruins. Smoke rose into the sky, but then silence fell. A shadow moved through the dust. Heavy, slow, powerful. The girl's stomach turned cold. She knew that step. She knew that presence. Her master had come. He stepped forward, taller than any soldier, his armor black as night, his eyes glowing red. His voice rumbled like thunder. You dare to fight me, little slave? You think freedom makes you strong? You are mine, always mine. The girl trembled. Old fear returned, sharp and heavy. Her knees wanted to bend. Her body remembered the chains, but then she felt the human's hand brush her shoulder. He said only one word. Stand. She looked at him. His eyes were full of fire. No chains, no fear. Just will. She straightened. Her voice shook, but she forced the words out. I am not yours. The master laughed, cruel and deep. Then you will die, he charged. The ground split beneath his weight. The girl and the human moved together. Blades and fire clashed. The ruins shook with the force of their battle. The girl's blood burned brighter, her strikes faster. The human fought with sharp precision, every movement in perfect rhythm with hers. Together they held against the master's fury. But he was strong, stronger than any soldier. His blows crushed walls, his voice roared with rage. The girl staggered. The master's strike threw her against a broken pillar. Pain exploded through her chest. The human stood between them, rifle empty but eyes unbroken. You'll have to go through me. The master raised his blade, ready to crush him. The girl screamed. Her blood erupted like fire. Power surged through her veins, brighter than ever. She leapt forward faster than thought, and struck with all the strength of her rage, her pain, her freedom. The master stumbled, armor cracking. For the first time, he looked afraid. The girl's voice shook the ruins. I am not your slave. I am alive. I am free. The ruins burned around them. Smoke rose like black wings into the sky. The master stood tall, his armor cracked but not broken, his eyes glowing with fury. The girl stood across from him, her veins glowing with fire, her chest heaving. The human was at her side, battered, bloodied, but unbroken. The master's voice thundered through the shattered city. You are nothing but a tool, a slave with stolen power. You think freedom makes you more? It makes you weak. Without me, you are nothing. The girl's heart pounded. For years, his voice had been the law of her world. For years, those words had been truth. But now she looked at the human beside her. This strange, fragile man who had bought her chains only to break them. She looked at the fire burning in her own blood, a fire no one could extinguish, and she whispered, steady and strong, "I am not nothing." The master roared and charged. His blade struck with the force of a falling star. The human met the blow, his arm shaking as he blocked with a broken piece of steel. The shock threw him to his knees, but he did not let go. The girl surged forward. Her hands burned with power. She struck the master's armor, and it cracked like glass. He staggered back, snarling, "You dare defy me?" "Yes," she breathed. "I dare." The battle raged. The human fought with everything he had, dodging, striking, distracting. The girl struck with fury, her blood glowing brighter with every heartbeat. The master was strong, but for the first time he faltered. For the first time he looked at her not as a slave, but as a threat, and still he fought on. His blade cut across her arm, fire of pain rushing through her. She cried out but did not fall. She remembered chains cutting deeper than this. She remembered years of silence heavier than any wound, and she rose. The human's voice rang out over the clash of metal. "Now don't stop!" The girl screamed, her blood exploding with light. She struck again and again until the master's armor shattered. He fell to one knee, his red eyes wide with rage and fear. "No," he growled. "You belong to me, always." The girl raised her hand, glowing with the fire inside her. For a moment she trembled. Killing him meant the end of fear, but it also meant a choice. The choice she had never been given before. Her voice broke, filled with both pain and power. "I belonged to you once." "Never again," she struck. The master's roar shook the ruins as his body crumbled, his armor falling apart like ash. And then, silence. The battlefield was still. The girl dropped to her knees, her chest heaving, tears mixing with blood and dust. The fire in her veins dimmed, but it did not vanish. It was hers now, not his. The human limped to her side, his face pale, his hands trembling. But his eyes were proud. He reached out, and this time she did not hesitate. She took his hand. For a long moment, they just breathed. The chains of her past, the weight of her master, the fire of her blood, all of it was different now. She was not prey. She was not property. She was alive. The human's voice was soft. "It's over." The girl shook her head. "No, it's beginning." They rose together. Around them, the ruins glowed faintly, as if the ancient hologram had left its blessing behind. The city of the dead had witnessed her victory. She looked at the human, her voice low but certain. "You bought my freedom." He nodded slowly. "I did." She stepped closer, her eyes steady. "But my heart, I give that by choice." For the first time since the chains had been broken, she smiled. It was small, fragile, but real. The human returned the smile, tired but warm. "Then we walk forward, together." They turned toward the stars. The warship above had fallen silent, its soldiers fleeing after their master's defeat. The path ahead was dangerous, full of unknowns. But for the first time, the girl did not feel afraid. Her chains were gone. Her blood burned with power, and beside her was someone who had seen her not as a slave, not as a weapon, but as a person. As they boarded the ship once more, the galaxy stretched out before them like an endless road. A road of freedom, a road of survival, a road of heart. The girl looked once more at the stars. Her voice was quiet, but the words carried deep. "He bought my freedom, but I chose to give him my heart." The ship's engines roared, rising into the sky. The ruins grew smaller beneath them. The stars opened wide ahead, and so began their journey. No longer master and slave, but something far greater.